Welcome to the 2025 May JRPG news updates. We're going to be discussing a Chrono Trigger remake leak, the success of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, as well as several other quick hits for JRPG news. But before we dive into that, let's start with the games releasing in May that may pique your interest. To start things out, available now is the Breath of Fire 4, and this was like a ninja release on PC 25 years later. You can pick this up for $10 right now, available today. I know fans are super excited about this because it's like reinvigorated interest into the franchise, may have just the slightest chance of bringing it back to life for either remakes or a sequel. Who knows? I feel like we're in like a remake, like the remake era of all of the old classical JRPGs, so I wouldn't be surprised, but you can check that out today. Next, releasing May 15th, we have Yasha Legends of the Demon Blade. Now, I wouldn't categorize this as a JRPG, but this is definitely something that looks interesting that I can see JRPG fans maybe wanting to dabble in and give it a try. Bringing it back to JRPG specific things though, on May 20th, shortly after May 15th, we have Sea of Stars Throes of the Watchmaker DLC. And then the day after, May 21st, finally releasing after being pushed back several times, we have Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. Now this is something, like I said, that's been continuously pushed back, and it seems like they finally locked in on a release date, which is going to be later this month. And then lastly, and I think probably the most exciting JRPG that's going to be coming out this month is going to be Fuga Melodies of Stills 3. And that's going to be releasing May 29th. Now that you have your calendar set up for launches this month, let's get into some quick hits of the news. The first quick hit is going to be the announcement of a board-style RPG going by the name of Viractyl for PC, and this is from the developers of Dokapon. There's going to be a demo for this for you guys to check out on May 12th, and then when it finally does release, it's going to be in early access for, I believe they said 6 months to a year. Now, the style that they're going for really looks similar to Bravely Default, where they're going for like that kind of miniature doll set. And this is going to be set up not quite like a tactile JRPG. I think they're more or less going for like a board game style theme. But when I see this, it kind of makes me feel like it's going to be played like a tactile JRPG. So you have the miniature dolls on the board. You're going to be able to roll dice. And I believe when it comes, and like that's going to determine how you move. And then I believe when it comes to like the battle system, it's going to be a card-based system where you can fuse cards and build out a deck. I really like the aesthetic that they're going with this game. And I when I see cards, it kind of throws me off a little bit. It makes me a little less interested to try it out. But this, like, I feel like this is a game that I definitely would test out based on a little booty shake, based on like the way that the like art style is presented, because I really like this type of art style. And I think it looks pretty unique with the miniature doll setup. Now, some of the key features, they did mention that you're going to be able to play this solo or with friends with multiplayer online supported. So I think that's going to be really big in terms of making this game fun to be able to play it with other people. The next announcement is going to be Brave Junction, and this is going to be a blackjack-based RPG where you're going to be playing blackjack in order to dish out damage, and it's going to be a turn-based system revolving around the game of blackjack. And this is going to be launching on PC via Steam. Now, I just mentioned that I don't really like combat where it's like card-based, and I feel like this is just straight up gambling card-based game. You know, it's blackjack, you know, which I enjoy playing blackjack, I'm not gonna lie. But I would say that this one, by looking at kind of the screenshots, just gives me more of like a gacha game vibe. And I'm big, I love gacha games, but I don't think this one is going to do it for me. But this is something that was announced to be coming, and I'll leave the key features here in case you want to check that out. Not for me, but hey, if it floats your boat, it may be worth giving it a try. I know that some of the character design might attract a lot of people. Not this one. This middle one is a little crazy, but hey, if you like it, I love it. For this May update, we have a lot of announcements in here, and the next one is going to be Varlet, that's going to be releasing on PS5, Switch, and PC, and this is going to be a school life RPG with the launch date being August 28th worldwide. So I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a preview of the announcement trailer so you can see kind of what they have to offer. When it comes to the graphics, I feel like they did a decent job to where this doesn't feel just like some throwaway game that no one's going to pay attention to. I feel like if you like the school life simulation with Persona and you're just fiending for more of that, this could be a solid option. Maybe like a budget Persona. Combat's going to be turn-based. Looks decent enough, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get me interested in it. But I do think that it is going to have an audience for those. who are looking for more of that Persona-esque gameplay loop. This seems like it's probably going to lean more on the side of like the social slice of life simulation and not be kind of like a super solid mixture. But that also could just be me yapping, and they could do it perfectly. I just don't know if it's something that has my attention just yet. But I will say that I do like the character designs when you have the 2D models here. Like I said, going to be launching August 28th. The next quick hit is going to be East 10 Proud Nordics is going to be launching July 31st in Japan. I bring this up because I know that this game just released here in America a few months ago. So I'm interested. They say that there's going to be significant upgrades from the original version. And I guess this is supposed to be like DLC because it says new story content and features. So it's supposed to be like DLC, but I feel like kind of when you see this, you just think it's a re-release. But if you played the original and you beat it, I feel like this new story content may be enough to get people to buy it again. I'm really hoping it's not an entirely new $60 game, which I think they actually released the price at the top. And I think it might be a $60 game, 7,800 yen. That converts to about $54. So I mean, I feel like maybe this could have just been DLC and they don't necessarily need to launch an entirely new game just to give you a little bit of new story content with upgraded features. But hey, I guess they have their business model and it's working, because I feel like with them specifically, they do this a lot where they re-release these games with slight upgrades. The last quick hit we have is going to be new Square Enix Final Fantasy IX merch, and this is going to be the VV hat. And we spoke about Final Fantasy IX merch in the last update, but this hat is something new, and I feel like this just looks so cool to where it's like, oh, it's taking everything in me to not pull the trigger and buy it. There is a link for it, and I believe you can have it pre-ordered internationally, but this hat, I think it was like $122. So I was on board. I was like, hey, I'm finna buy it. I haven't played the game yet, but this hat looks cool enough to where it's like, I think this is just gonna be a cool merch item to own for when inevitably the remake happens, and I'm probably gonna fall in love with it if if it's as good as everyone else says it is, to where it's like, okay, would it be crazy for me to preemptively start ordering merch? But when I saw the $122 price tag, I was like, you know what? I might not got that just yet for this series until I play it. Now we can discuss a pretty big rumor that happened and kind of had the internet on fire for a few days, and that's going to be about the Chrono Trigger remake that was accidentally leaked at a convention. And so this is the tweet that kind of started everything. I don't know if it's this exact tweet, but this summarizes the controversy on how it started. And so pretty much they were doing an interview, and there was information that slipped out during that interview where he whispered in a host's ear and then covered his mouth, and everyone went crazy insane. This was to the translator, and they believe that he accidentally leaked that a Chrono Trigger remake was in the works. Now, this was a recorded event, but the recording hadn't yet been released, so it was kind of just by word of mouth that everything traveled based on those that were at this convention. But when the audio finally released and the full video came out, things were debunked. And so this is the latest update, and pretty much this was just like a fake out that had the internet going crazy that was proven to not be true. And so they said that in the latest update, footage from the event is out, and Hori himself never, oh man, I'm stopping because I think I just said this name really crazy. But basically he himself never actually said anything about the Chrono Trigger remake. Likely it was all the interpreter who did this, and so this has been since debunked. Now, I am not fluent in Japanese. I don't know anything. I'm not gonna watch the video. Now, this could just be damage control and something that they're doing just to kind of clean up on Aisle 3, clean up the situation so that way they can continue working in secrecy. I feel like it's too convenient that we've been getting all of these reports about new projects coming from Chrono Trigger with the anniversary that we discussed in the last month's update video. I feel like everyone's asking for it. At this point, they need to just give it to us. I don't know what's taking them this long, for them to do it, unless they're doing a full 3D remake, similar to the Final Fantasy VII original and then the Final Fantasy VII remake, where they're just redoing everything and bringing it to life in a new modern take on it. And I feel like there's two routes they can go with this, and I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Would you prefer to see that HD 2D remaster that we're seeing with Triangle Strategy, Octopath Travelers, and Dragon Quest HD 2D remake? Would you like to see that type of style remake for Chrono Trigger, or would you prefer the more Final Fantasy VII remake route? I would say for me, I'm down for both. I feel like I just want I bought the game and I've played some of it, but I haven't beat it, and I've just been holding off for so long because I wanted, like, there have been rumors of this remake happening for so long to where it's like, if I can play the remakes fresh without having anything spoiled from the original game, I want to save my mind to do that for the review of that and for new players. So I've been holding off, and at this point, just announce it or stop talking about it. But I feel like they haven't even been the ones talking about it. It's been a lot of leaks and kind of internal things within the community. But I would say for the most part, I'm just ready for the announcement because I feel like it's something that's inevitable. For Square Enix, it just logically makes the most sense. Like, why are we waiting so long? Unless there's some sort of like battle going on behind the scenes for who has the rights to this IP. But I feel like it clearly should be Square, right? But who knows? Maybe we'll get more news on that soon when they officially announce something as opposed to quote unquote leaks happening. But I'll keep you updated when we get more news on that. Now we're gonna talk about the sales of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's finally released. I'm not gonna talk about any spoilers, so don't feel like you have to click out because I'm gonna ruin things. But this game is doing way better than anyone could have expected. And I feel like I'm just so impressed seeing this come from a team of 30 people. And when I saw the game initially, I was like, man, they really nailed the graphics and the combat. But usually we don't get a lot of games where they get everything right when it comes to the story, the music, combat, and gameplay, and just like the overall graphics of the game. We don't see all of them hit. And when they do, those are just instant cult classics. And I feel like that's what Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is going to be. I'm wearing a hat, not for style, not for anything stylistic. I look dusty. I shouldn't have showed that, but we're deep in the video. I look dusty because I have not been taking care of my personal hygiene because I haven't bathed because all I've been doing is eat, breathing, and sleeping. Expedition 33. I beat the game. I'll have my review somewhere on the channel. It's already posted if you want to hear my deep, in-depth thoughts. Now, I know many people are saying that Expedition 33 isn't a JRPG because it's not from Japan or it's not Japanese. And I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people say this and I resonate with it. I feel like JRPG is like a style of creating a game as opposed to it having to be something that is Japanese. But here are the numbers on Steam of how Expedition 33 is doing compared to other JRPGs that's launched last year. So we got Persona 3 Reload, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantazio, and like, look at this. Look at these numbers for Expedition 33 compared to some of these other games we consider juggernauts in the industry. Like, I feel Expedition 33, after I finally beat it, has become one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. I think this is going to be one of those games that we look back on in 2 years and start treating it like it's a Dragon Quest XI or like it's a Persona once we've had time for it to marinate. But I just can't express how happy I am to see this game doing well. And I hope that this kind of paves the way for remakes to games like Lost Odyssey, or just more games taking this direction when it comes to turn-based combat, because I feel like it's kind of starting to become extinct. We're getting very good games with turn-based combat, but I feel like it seems like the industry's kind of shifting away from it or looking down on that type of gameplay style. And I feel like Expedition 33, like 3 years back to back, we've just been getting banger turn-based games. Expedition 33, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Baldur's Gate 3. And like, it just shows that they can still be a powerhouse. And I wonder what this 30-man team with Expedition 33 did differently, where they were able to create such an incredible game with such a small team. But we have bigger companies who are constantly saying that their games when they release are underperforming what they expected or like the expected sales. Like, is it because they're putting so much money into trying to make these games? Or is it just because they're just remaking old games and not necessarily creating new IPs? I feel like Expedition 33 shows that if you take a chance, it definitely can pay off when investing in a new IP, as long as you kind of put the effort and the care that you would have into doing a remake that you assume is going to be successful. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I feel like we're getting new IPs, but not a lot of super high quality new IPs where you can tell that they're really going out on a limb for this game when it comes at least to the JRPG genre. Now, that's just off the dome, and that's what I'm thinking. There could be some examples where I'm going to be proven wrong, but I feel like I'm looking at Monolith Soft to do something different. I did see some articles about them working and hiring for a new game that's coming, and I don't think this is going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 4, but with the Switch 2 releasing and the new hardware, they're probably cooking up something crazy that's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive, probably going to be releasing in the holiday season, just to give the Switch 2 launch game some time to breathe, and then boom, reinvigorate the, I mean, you don't need to reinvigorate the Switch 2, I'm capping, but like, just to bring life into the console again in the holiday season. But speaking of new IPs, I wanted to talk about DuskFade. And I know this isn't a JRPG, but I feel like it's Kingdom Hearts inspired, and I feel like a lot of JRPG fans are gonna like this type of game. It's gonna be launching in 2026 and it's gonna be a 3D platformer, but I just feel like when I look at the preview that they gave of this game, it just looks so good. And I feel like this is another game that I'm gonna be excited for in 2026. I kind of build out what games I'm going to be like looking forward to the most each year. I feel like for this year it was Expedition 33, and for 2026, at least until Persona 4 Remake gets officially announced, and who even knows that's going to be coming in 2026, I feel like this is the game I'm going to be looking forward to the most. And like, they just build such an amazing world, and I really like the art direction that they went with this game. And I feel like if you're a JRPG fan, you're probably going to be enjoying this one or looking forward to playing this one, especially when it has kind of like that Kingdom Hearts themed like aura. I don't really know how to describe it. I guess maybe it's like the sword looking similar to a Keyblade and having like the chain hanging off from it that gives me that like Kingdom Hearts thought, as well as some of the designs of the monsters that you're fighting. But I think this is definitely something that should be on your radar if it's not already. DuskFade coming in 2026. That's going to conclude the May 2025 JRPG update, but if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts on what I think after beating Expedition 33, I'll have that video linked right here for you to check out. But thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next one.